Noon. Well, I'm taking a little break from studying, and I thought this would be a good time for a musings with Jeff. I'm kind of getting myself comfortable. I've got a cup of tea in hand. I'd like to offer you one too, but since we're electronically connected, there's no way to get it through my computer, probably without wrecking all the circuits that are there. You probably hear a little background music, and as I'm relaxing with a cup of tea, I hope I can share some thoughts with you and we can sort of relax together when you watch this. In fact, if you're watching it after the fact, I would encourage you to grab a cup of tea and just take a few minutes and join me as I go over what's going on through the week. Now, I have to admit that I'm not a black tea lover, and I probably will adjust this down. It's almost like the thing I saw with C.S. Lewis. I'm going to just assume that you've entered the room and I can go ahead and turn this down just a little bit. Although I have to admit, I really enjoy the English country tune. And so part of me doesn't want to, but I think that would be good. And so again, if you see this later on, you can grab a cup of tea and pretend we're both having tea together. Maybe not pretend. In a sense, we will be. I just thought I'd share a few thoughts, catch you up on a pretty interesting week. I almost feel like calling this segment a week in the life of a Bible teacher apologist in the middle of Arizona. That's a little too long, so Musings with Jeff will just have to do. It was an incredible week last week, and I'm going to end up sharing part of it with you. In fact, you can see part of it on the side there. And I'll go back to my camera. Wednesday, my brother George Saig was in town in order to set up the annual M2M conference and outreach, and we were able to spend time together. That's posted. I'm going to get to discuss, did Jesus really claim to be God, and can we trust our Bibles? One might argue that a Muslim conference or outreach is not the place for a Jewish missionary, but I argue that the discussion of whether Jesus claimed to be God is as relevant for the Jewish person as it is for the Muslim person. In fact, I see a lot of overlap between Muslim objections and Jewish objections, and I know full well that many Muslims are listening to Rabbi Singer, who that will come up a little later in our tea time, in order to get arguments against the gospel. And so I'm fully aware that I see there's a good deal of overlap. Besides that, ultimately I work for the Jewish King of Kings, and if he wants to relegate a certain amount of time to other apologetic areas that we both have interest in, I see no problem with that. And so I am excited about the upcoming conference and wanted to take a little time. I stuck that up here because that's the complete schedule. Now, I won't be here for the whole conference. I will be able to be there for the training the week before and enjoy George's company, my Syrian brother in Messiah. And then I will be able to do some outreach alongside George, and that's always a blessing. I have to admit, I am handicapped because I don't know Arabic, but I love just hanging around George and watching him share his passion for the gospel and for those he's trying to reach, and be able to help him as I can. And so I will be able to do that, and then I'll be speaking the Friday night, so I will be with him as he does the pre-training and enjoying that very much. And then I will be able to help with a little outreach on the Friday afternoon, and then Friday evening I'm speaking. Now Saturday, me and my wife have the excitement of starting our fall tour. Chosen People Ministry sends its missionaries out, usually about twice a year, in order to do fall tour. By the way, I can recommend that a samurai chai is an excellent tea, but that's an aside. And so we are going to get to go to Louisiana. Now that's a state I've never been to before, so I'm excited about getting to Cajun country. I'm not a shellfish eater by nature. I don't do pork and I don't do shellfish, but I like spicy food. So if I can find a non-pork laden chicken gumbo or even grab some fried okra, I would be perfectly happy with that and enjoy that greatly. So I'm looking forward to that time, and I'm looking forward to having Marlene with me. She said we have to do something, see something there. If I am left to myself, I go to the hotel room, I work, I sit, and I don't usually leave the hotel room. I'm not the adventurous type, but I love history, and I love meeting people, and I love learning about different cultures and different areas. And so Marlene gets me out of my comfort zone a little when I'm traveling and allows me to do those things. She's also an incredibly able administrator, and I am not. And so I'm always blessed when my wife can travel with me. Well, fortunately, it'll be a little hard in some ways because two do not travel as cheaply as one, but I am so excited to have her with me. And so she is a tremendous help to me. You could say we've worked as a team for a little while now. And then we are going up to Vermont. I spent 20 years in Vermont. My kids were all born there, and there are some areas and things about Vermont that I really enjoy. One of the things we will have to do is go to Hoagie's Pizza. We have fond memories of our kids as homeschoolers getting to do a special unit at Hoagie's Pizza, and we developed kind of a relationship with Hoagie's Pizza, not to mention the excellence of their garlic ducks. And so I'm looking forward to that. I also have dear friends up there, and I don't know if they'll see this or not, but I really want to see Peter and Marion, who I have so many on-the-road stories with Peter. He used to do the music when I used to speak, and it used to be Jeff and Peter on the road. And those were such precious times to me. And so I hope to see some dear friends while I'm up there and see some of the Vermont sights and look at the green trees and just enjoy that. But that's not all there is to it. There's some speaking that I'm going to be able to do at a church we have a relationship with, and I'm hoping to get more speaking in. And beyond that, we have a new addition expected to the family, my first grandchild. She should be born before we arrive there, but we'll have the opportunity to see her. And so I'm truly excited about that also. February, of course, you've probably already heard me advertise the Doctrine for the Block conference, and that's coming up in a week. Now, Friday night, I will either go to the conference and go down to First Fridays to witness and share the gospel, or I will meet a group of people going from the conference downtown to do First Fridays. I haven't determined whether it's easier to grab the light rail from my house and travel down to Dunlap, and some of these streets are unfamiliar to me, but trust me, I've had to try and find the most effective ways, and I still am, to get downtown from Glendale. And so, or I'll just head down there. So Friday night, First Fridays. Saturday night, speaking at Doctrine for the Block. Sunday night Sunday is going to be a full day. I teach a Sunday school now that I'm filling in. If you are listening to this and you could do me a tremendous favor in praying for Larry and Angela. They just need prayer, and I'm filling in for Larry. No details. God knows the details. But then in the evening, we start our apologetics club back up at Hillside. So I'll probably put a hashtag to the conference, to Hillside, and even to ministry to Muslims. So I will be teaching twice on Sunday, speaking on Saturday, doing outreach on Friday, and bringing 2 broadcasts this week. So this is an incredible week, and I am truly excited about it. And I'm receiving word that it looks like I'm in a position to graduate, finishing my doctorate this May. Not positively sure, but it looks like I'll be able to do my oral presentation before I leave. And so prayers for that, I really would appreciate. If everything falls into place, I will have completed this Herculean task that the Lord has given me. Everything just needs to fall into place, but it's coming together. And so for the first time, I'm really seeing a lot happen that indicates that I can complete this. And I really need to complete it. We need to get it done. Resources-wise and for other reasons, ministry-wise. And personally, I need to finish this task that the Lord put before me some years ago. So I'm excited about getting that done. March will be busy. Broadcasts will still be going on. If you don't tune in to YouTube /C/Jeff Kran Zion's banner, I urge you to tune in, click the subscription bell, and hit the like button. This week is going to be exciting in the sense that we're going to be dealing with whether the blood of the righteous atones. We have been answering some of the objections of Rabbi Singer, and we're going to do that again. This is an important issue. This is an issue that's important as far as the gospel and Jewish people. This is an issue that's also important, interestingly enough, as far as the gospel and Muslim people. And I am certain from what I'm seeing on Rabbi Singer's website that there'll be a few Muslims trying to borrow his arguments. In fact, I think they already have. So I'm excited to go ahead and do this. Thursday is our usual Matthew broadcast. We'll be looking at the first miracles that Matthew organizes in Matthew chapter 8. So this is a little time that I've been able to share with you personal feelings and what's coming up. As far as personal observations, one of the neat things was that I got together with two brothers. We did share and do some, I got to do some teaching at a Messianic congregation, and these two brothers said that one of the things they appreciated was my heart for the gospel. I was thrilled to hear that. And a little put back because I am the introverted evangelist. And most of the people who knew me in Vermont probably would never have considered me an evangelist. In fact, I might have heard the opposite because I am not the type of person who just naturally goes to a party and connects with 65 people and has them all just enthralled. I'm the type of person that finds one or two people at a party and starts talking, gets into a deep conversation, and really enjoys that, and has a deep circle of friends that he takes seriously as opposed to a lot of wide acquaintances. And so I'm not the temperament that people might normally associate. And that struck me as the introverted evangelist, that really one of the reasons that I felt so much freer is that an apologist doesn't have to have a certain temperament in order to evangelize. I can just go out and do it. And so I'm so free in being able to talk to people about the issues of life and have those deep spiritual conversations around the Lord with unbelievers when they come up, and at least get them thinking. And I don't have to have so many assists or so many saves to my name in order to be able to do that. What that all is about for me is that I think we make a mistake. We assume that evangelists come in one type and they look a certain way and they have a certain type of personality all the time, and they get certain results all the time no matter where they are. And I think what we've done is we've pigeonholed God's gifts. Now, I do believe there is a connection between talents and gifts, but I think that God can give a gift that connects to a talent or talents, or maybe even doesn't, in very creative ways. And so how many people out there might try a ministry and discover some sort of gifting related to it if they only didn't have to feel that they had to look a certain way or do it a certain way or have a certain type of voice or a certain type of face or have itchy feet, as one guy put it to me, or have non-itchy feet, as maybe another guy put it to me. I don't know how it all works out, but I think that maybe our gifts may end up being demonstrated and exhibited and glorify God in as many individual ways as there are individual believers. Well, my tea's beginning to cool down a little, and I've drank some of it. And I don't know how long it'll take for your tea to cool if you have a cup with this. But I thought it was good just to get together again, muse a little bit, and give you updates on what's going on with me. These are so much more personal to me than just a letter, although I'm glad that I have prayer letters mailed. And this is an opportunity. I've often thought that I'd like a fireplace and a table and be able to set my computer up there and and do these there. But that hasn't worked out yet. I don't know. My ultimate setting might be a cup of tea and a fireplace. Um, but right now it's a desk and a cup of samurai chai tea. Thank you if you end up watching this for tuning in and giving me a few minutes of your day. It was good to be able to relax with you, talk with you, share calendars with you, tell you what excites me in the ministry, what's coming up, and maybe give you a little different perspective from what God's done this week and what He will do in the upcoming weeks. These are going to happen occasionally, maybe a little less when I'm on the road, but I really want to do one in Vermont. And so I can't tell you same time, same station with these because these are more personal. This is why these are posted privately on my YouTube station and shared with my Patreon supporters, and then on Facebook, because I want these to be more intimate and a little bit less scholarly. And I don't know, I don't want someone on YouTube grading the color of my tea or whether I did this right by having a cup of tea with me. And so these are just more relaxed. Again, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you'll be able to see this online if this works right. Until next time, this is Musings with Jeff.